We talk about the Thing often enough.
We finally had to draw the Thing because we talk about the Thing a lot.
So, we drew the Thing.
We draw the Thing as different movies and media. So I drew the Thing as a 90s rom-com called The Thing About the Thing. In the classic vein of 10 Things I Hate About You and That Thing You Do.
Various things.
Lots of, things. Well, it keeps it ambiguous, which means it's appealing to a wider swath of people.
You know, the Thing.
That Thing. So I decided to base it off of the creature from the climax of the movie, the Blair monster, where it's just sort of becoming its original shape and sort of a dog and sort of the man it absorbed, and it's just covered in ropey, veiny tentacles. But in this one, the Thing has to woo MacReady within 10 days, or he loses a bet.
A bet with whom?
A bet with himself, because he's an amalgamation of things.
Ah.
Half of him is you've got this, and half of him is just MacReady's way out of your league. There's no way you have this.
And here's our MacReady.
I drew a very, smirky, nosies hot shit MacReady. MacReady's the hot girl in this. He's the Cameron Diaz of There's Something About Mary. Something About Mary?
Something About Mary. Well, he's got the hair.
Kurt Russell has the most magnificent hair in all of his movies at the time, especially the Carpenter ones.
Yeah.
Whoever was the hairdresser on the Carpenter movies, The Escapes, and The Thing, just complete Farrah Fawcett blowout on Kurt Russell, and he fucking worked it.
Yeah.
He's playing a grimy drunk in this movie, and he just looks stepped off of the runway. It's I didn't leave the lights on in my cabin.
Yeah. Yeah. He's playing a character who doesn't look the way he looks.
It's the Arctic. None of them are bathing that often because you have to, it's cold, man.
Yeah.
But, he definitely comes out looking real clean till the end. The end he gets real dirty.
But even then, he wears it well.
Grimes Up Good is the...
Yeah, Grimes Up Good, The Witcher. That was the example for that.
Henry Cavill?
Yeah, as The Witcher.
Yeah. As Superman, as The Witcher? Oh, yeah.
There's a few people who just grime up well. But I feel like Kurt Russell in general, just put him in whatever, he can figure it out. It's the attitude.
Yeah.
He has the attitude.
Would you say I clean up well or grime up good?
It depends. We do goth conventions.
I tend to stay grimy for long periods of time, which, as wife, you have a magnificent amount of patience for.
Well, you can wear a suit and look really nice, though.
I wooed you in a suit.
Yeah. But if you're, sporting your... the 3 o'clock shadow? 5 o'clock shadow? You have a shadow earlier, I think, than most people.
It grows in rather quickly. I need to shave now, and I shaved yesterday.
But you look good, is my point.
Thank you.
So I think it's the Kurt Russell. As long as you're confident, anything looks good on you in particular.
Maybe that's what the Thing's after? It's not really about Kurt Russell. It's about absorbing Kurt Russell's magnificent hair.
The confidence. It's he wants to learn the loving your own body, because obviously there's some body horror going on. The Thing needs some therapy about it.
I think the dog is the goofy best friend, the Jack Black in this particular 90s comedy.
Voiced by? I mean, I assume he needs a voice if he's animatronic.
Yeah. Either that, if we really want to get meta with it, maybe Jason Alexander. Just have Duckman just squawking out one-liners from the torso.
I would watch that. I would absolutely watch this. No, these days, Josh Gad?
Yeah.
I think that's who would wind up doing the voice.
I kept the entire title. Yeah, I had to make the title a certain way. Because there was a certain, color scheme, and there was a certain, fontage that happened.
And the tilt.
Yeah.
The Thing About.
And then I cheated for this part.
Well, this is important.
I wasn't going to draw that logo properly.
No, it had to be The Thing.
Yeah. Let's make sure. My program froze here. I don't know if it caught that.
Just for a split second.
Yeah. Well, split second on the capture, but it sped up. So that was 5 minutes of me being why isn't it moving?
I love those two colors together, though.
Well, they were very 90s colors.
Yeah. Oh man.
It was that and yellows from the things I was using as references.
It's just very like a pastel primary.
Yeah. And I
love your flowers.
Thank you. You saw I got bored after drawing 4 of them and went, no, I'll just copy paste. I'll just flip them around. No one's going to look at the flowers that much.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah. You have to draw more than 1, but you don't need to draw more than 5 if there's going to be a dozen in there.
Yeah.
No one's going to notice. And then I had to choose the proper flesh tones. Had to make him look properly sticky.
Yeah.
Lots of flesh tones.
Picking a flesh tone, a single tone for the thing.
Well, he's got a couple in there, but there's a base one that I used.
Sort of jaundicey. He just looks oddly happy, all things considered.
Big smiles.
I love the positions of these two characters together.
Again, very much based on the 90s. There was a lot of stark white background, back-to-back main characters like Runaway Bride. Never Been Kissed is literally just Drew Barrymore sitting.
Yeah.
And it's just like it tells you nothing about the movie except that Drew Barrymore's in it.
Which at the time really was the selling point anyway.
Yeah.
She like Meg Ryan. If a lot of people are just going to see the America Sweetheart at the time.
Yeah, there was Meg Ryan was one for a while where just
time.
Meg Ryan played a lot of the same character for a while.
The very busy woman who would trip a lot, but she was bossy.
I'm busy and bossy, but I'm also clumsy, which humanizes me. If only I had a man to send me emails from the past who I could fall in love with.
Who could sell butter. It is that. But, it was, I guess, a trope? I don't know. Is that a trope? The busy woman who trips?
How many times does Meg Ryan have to have a cross-time-space relationship before it's just, part of her wiki page? Because it's more than twice, right?
Though Sandra Bullock also played the boss lady who is also clumsy.
Yes.
Who has to find, a doofy man to settle down. That's just...
Sandra Bullock has also more than once played someone who you could describe as wacky assassin.
Yeah, wacky assassin.
Someone with, combat prowess and a sharp mind who still will slip on every single banana peel in a 5-mile radius.
Yeah, it's like slapstick, but classy.
She got paid. She had fun with it. Good for her.
Yeah, absolutely.
But there was definitely a type of movie that Sandra Bullock was in for a while.
I like the color choices you're making.
I'm trying to get him to have the proper, playful smirk on. Oh, and you've seen by now, I gave up on hands. I draw those hands 8 times and they all looked like hot garbage. So I just said, I'm gonna pull what I used to do in my webcomic when I couldn't draw hands and just put them in pockets.
It's easier. Well, the Thing has lots of hands.
Yeah, I drew hands. I just didn't draw McCready's hands.
Yeah. No, the Thing has plenty.
And then the dog has a different skin tone.
And different hands.
Yeah, different hands.
Plenty of hands.
I did really good with the dog's hands, and one of them got obscured by McCready's head, so that'll teach me for trying.
Oh, I feel that. Oh, the dog looks like he's laughing. He looks like he's saying a joke.
You can totally imagine some cartoon voiceover, having a lot of fun with that part.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I want to know what they're saying. Oh, he's a little gory.
Yeah, there's a lot of, exposed innards on the Thing at this point. So...
I said he, but I don't know. The Thing...
Definitely a they sort of situation. Not only because there's not really a gender involved, except for what he absorbs, but also each cell is an individual, so they are collective.
Yeah, so it's they. Both in the gender sense and in the plural sense.
Probably not the non-binary representation that people are clamoring for.
No.
But if you're thirsty for it, the Thing is non-binary representation.
Yeah.
The thing about the Thing I thought I captured the 90s rom-com quite well.
Did.
I'm very happy. I could have pushed more with the shading and all that, but I was done with this. This took me like 2 hours. I got frustrated with hands. It's a big piece because I made it movie poster sized. So this is as much as I'm exploring that for now.
And you managed to fit in the title, and no, this is perfect.
Did the whole thing. Well, I just put a little...
Oh, you did the whole thing?
Yeah, I did the whole thing.
Well, I also did the thing. The whole thing, and nothing but the thing.
What was your thing? What thing did you do with the thing to make it a new thing?
The animated series.
Okay.
So you remember in the 90s, also in the 90s, while we had all the shows and movies that you were just talking about, we had a lot of cartoons based on movies that aren't for children, but then the shows would be for children.
Yes.
So like RoboCop.
Like in the movie Ghostbusters, one of them gets a blowjob from a ghost, but then there's a kid's cartoon.
Yeah,
with those
Slimer.
same characters, and Slimer's their buddy. Mm-hmm. RoboCop was definitely one. Like, that movie, people fucking explode.
Literally, yeah. No, there's so much violence in RoboCop. Beetlejuice, I love. Favorite movie forever. Not for children. Not for children.
I really like how you, like, just there, you drew the pencil and then completely ignored it to draw the eyes completely in a different place.
Because I couldn't do the shape if I was concentrating on where the shape was going to be, so I had to do it elsewhere.
You did the shapes perfectly, you just did not ignored your pencil layer completely, which goes against the entire premise of having a pencil layer.
But then I knew where to put them.
Yeah.
I just had to drag them into place.
That is a great cartoon dog.
Thank you!
With hands for ears.
Yeah. No, he wound up my favorite part.
Just Beetlejuice.
Right. No, Beetlejuice is a great example because they took away the main characters. Like, the movie, I swear to you, Adam and Barbara are the main characters. It's about them. It's about their autonomy. It's about their home and what their home means to them. And they're not in the cartoon at all. Because they made a character who's only in 17 minutes of the film, one of the two main characters. But I still love the cartoon. It's nonsense, but I love it so much.
It's not quite the nonsense of Beetlejuice Goes Hawaiian, but...
No. Well, there's a reason that one never saw the light day. There were so many cartoons, though. Little Shop of Horrors became Little Shop, where Seymour is a teenager or preteen.
They seem like late elementary school, like 6th grade.
They shouldn't have existed. It was such a disaster. It only lasted a season.
Too long.
It was 1991, I think.
Too long.
And it was bad. It was just legitimately bad. No, there were many. There were many 90s shows based on things that children shouldn't have been able to watch. The Mask, even.
I remember, I have a very vivid memory of Terminator. Like, I was in 1st grade, and Terminator toys, or Terminator 2 toys, were big. And I was in 2nd grade. None of my peers had seen either of the Terminator movies.
But they all had the
because
toys.
They're full of violence and, like, but they all had the toys.
Mm-hmm. They all had the toys.
The toys were big because it was a popular thing for adults, so kids ate it, even though, like, those kids did not see the Terminator.
Rambo also had a cartoon.
That's so wrong on so many. Well, the entire, like, the cultural remembrance of Rambo is tough guy with a gun, not guy with PTSD having the worst fucking time.
Either way, not a kid's show.
Yeah.
In either direction.
Either way, not a kid's show.
The Crypt Keeper had an animated show.
I'm all for that, though, because you should scar children.
Also, we have, like, Are You Afraid of the Dark?
As a creepy child, I really... you had to flip it upside down. I love it.
Just to get the face part.
I really love how you can tell what character in the movie... Like, that's the face of the guy from the movie who became the spider head. Like, that's his dopey face. You captured him in cartoon form so perfectly, and then added Spider Monster.
Oh, well, that was my concept, because I figured, like with the cartoons that were based on those movies, the cartoons had so little to do with the movie. So I thought, okay, if we did make this into a 90s cartoon for kids, what would they keep and what would they just pretend never existed.
Just the iconic stuff. They'd be like, okay, there's a dog that's a thing, and there's a spider. That spider head is genius, because the alien spider is having a great happy time, and the guy is having an awful day.
Thank you. But yeah, I figured it wouldn't all be considered the same character, the same creature. It would be a number of creatures that are all the things, and then you'd have MacReady coming in and just, like, living with these creatures that have moved in next door.
MacReady being the nanny to the Muppet babies that are the thing.
Yeah. That's exactly what I'm thinking. And
they get into shenanigans.
Absolutely. He was the hardest part to draw, because...
Do they have to hunt down other, like, scattered things to add to the goo pile?
Yeah, I figured he starts with the dog. That seems like a regular dog until the hands pop up, and he talks to him. And they just one by one start gathering. Like, the Stitch show, the Lilo and Stitch animated series.
Oh, and they're just collecting aliens?
Yeah.
Like, there's just 8 aliens hanging out on the beach, and it's just like, this is fine.
Yeah. I had to make sure his hair was as luxurious as it is in the movie. That was very important to me.
It's a very important part of his character. It already looks very much like a 90s cartoon. I'm trying to think. Very like Beetlejuice cartoon, but what's the other vibe I'm getting from this?
I feel like the eyes wound up a little bit Courage the Cowardly Dog, but I don't know what else. Something else. I watched so many cartoons back in the day. I say back in the day like I wasn't watching them yesterday. But I really like cartoons.
We watch different cartoons. Now we watch My Hero Academia.
Yeah. But I still have my DVD of all the Beetlejuice cartoons.
Of course.
And Freakazoid and, love cartoons.
Yeah.
See, Freakazoid was just not based on a specific thing, but had so many references to things that kids would not get. Like the Lon Chaney Jr. Wolfman. So I understood that one, and none of my peers did.
Well, that entire studio, like, that was another Spielberg thing, like Animaniacs.
Right.
They had as many jokes for the adults as the kids.
Right.
Because looking back on Animaniacs, I'm just like, I can't believe that joke got in.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I guess standards and practices were just tired.
Oh, like the Fingering Prince one. That's a classic one of how did you get away with that.
Yeah.
MacReady needed shoulders. I needed to make sure that he was very triangular.
We both tried to capture the jacket and the luxurious hair.
Yeah.
Because that's the important part of the character.
And I had to kind of ignore my line art because I realized I didn't have the space to create him. I needed to design him separately. But yeah, I almost had his foot going up like he was standing on his heel a little bit.
He's still... Oh, these characters.
Yeah. Yeah. Because he's the guy. He's sort of the straight man in this. He's also the fish out of water, so we're learning things as he's learning about him. And I don't know if he's got any other humans around him. Maybe there's like one other survivor that he's trying to hide the things from. He's like lying to his old friend. Like
they're across the street.
Yeah.
Either like Blair or Giles is just like, I know you have a thing in there.
Yeah. Ah, it's just my dog.
This is a perfectly normal dog. Blinks all 4 eyes.
Yeah. I would watch this show. Oh, decided his legs were too short. So made his legs very longer. Just minor surgery. Also, whoops, the dog looks like he's grabbing his crotch. So I do move that later. I didn't know what to do with this guy.
The dog's the goofy sidekick, and the spider's like the brains of the operation.
Mm-hmm. And then there's this guy I'm working on right here. I don't know why. First I thought I was going to open up his mouth and have the title in the mouth. But I didn't.
He's just like the chest part of the...
Yeah. And then I just had this. So it was like, well, where do I put him? What do I do with him? I didn't want to get rid of him. So you'll see I move him all over the place. Because he was going to be the title.
He's the one they're looking for.
And I almost gave him a separate head. He was almost like the torso. And then you might have seen it for a second, he had arms.
Okay, I think I figured out the MacReady thing, where he reminds me of. every time one of those cartoon shows, because they had, like, the Men in Black cartoon had style, but that, like, Men in Black was, like, more appropriate for a kid's show, I'd argue, because it was definitely a movie, like, advertised to kids. But whenever those cartoons had to have, like, a guest star, they would get drawn in a completely different style than
Arthur. You ever see Matt Damon on Arthur?
No.
It's horrendous, because it's Matt Damon with little, like, bear ears and a little nose, but it's still Matt Damon.
That's what this reminds me of, is when they had to import a real person and they just did not match stylistically.
They just wanted him to look... Well, like Simpsons would do that a lot. It's like, we know you're on The Simpsons, but you're still obviously this person. Yeah. So, you'll see... Yep, there he goes.
Like, it's a caricature of the human, but it doesn't fit with the style of everyone else.
I moved the dog, so he wasn't just grabbing onto McCready's nose.
Hello, would you like to become one with the Unity? We are all one here, and we are happy.
And you see the Thing snowman in the background?
Is he still in the Arctic?
Yes.
Okay, so it's just like a neighborhood up there now?
Yeah, he got a little place. Or, could be by Canada. Someplace with lots of snow. And yeah, I needed to do the snowman.
Of course. It's marvelous, and I love it. And I would believe that this cartoon existed.
I would watch this cartoon.
I would own all 3 episodes on a special DVD that I got bootleg off the garage sale.
I want a plushie. I don't have the skill to make the plushie of the dog, but I want to. So that's The Thing.
We drew The Thing. We will probably keep talking about The Thing for a long time.
For the rest of our lives.
Every video we'll talk about The Thing. It's marvelous. But, yeah, rock on.
Rock on.